Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at ogerpon-teal mask in Regulation F, and honestly it is one of the more underexplored options in terms of ogerpons and Pokemon in general. It gets a really good ability in Defiant, meaning you can't really get intimidated, or when any of your stats get lowered you're going to actually get that attack boost. And given the fact that Icy Wind is into format, Electro Web is into format, Incineroar is super popular, I really think Defiant has a lot of potential to capitalize on something like that. You also get access to an item, which none of the other Ogerpon forms do. And I think that actually gives you a lot of versatility as opposed to the other forms where, oh, you know, they're locked into that mask. So they can't really capitalize on the item. And I think capitalizing on the item is really what is going to set Ogerpon apart from the other forms. Like, they're all going to get the IV Cudgels, you're all going to get the Follow Me's, right? That stuff, their move spreads are actually the same outside of the IV Cudgel changing typing. So it's really going to come down to where we see the variability and why would I use Ogerpon. And like I said before, this is going to be that item. I'm going to start this off with a Covert Cloak support. And I know people are going to question, Ryan, you just said Icy Wind, Electro Web, we want them to drop our stats. Yes, but this is strictly to get around Fake Out. I don't think this is the optimal spread or set for Ogerpon-teal mask, but I do think it's an interesting option because it's just got the same support, and Follow Me that can't get clicked. You can't fake out my Follow Me user. All of a sudden, that's phenomenal. You resist the Urshifu Surging Strikes as well, right? And then you get a bunch of support moves. And because you don't need to have a Grass move and Ivy Cudgel, because Ivy Cudgel is just your Grass move on this form, you actually get that second support move if you choose. Now, you can run a coverage move on some of these sets. I will have a coverage move. But I think on this spread in particular, or on this set in particular, you benefit from having something like an Encore, a Taunt, right? I think you also get access to Helping Hand if you wanted to as well. U-Turn is cute, right? There's a lot of good options. Quick Attack is funny. I didn't even know the thing got it until right now, but Quick Attack Ogerpon to like pick off sashes is incredibly, incredibly funny. So like Substitute is cool as well if you just want to kind of stick around on the field a little bit more. You could, in theory, Swords Dance, right? There are tons of options in this slot. This slot is completely undefined. You can do whatever you feel fits the team the best. And it's that versatility that I think really opens the door. I am very big believer in Encore and Taunt. We've seen them, and just hindering your opponent's ability to play the game time and time again ends up being pretty good overall. So something like that tends to be correct on a supportive piece. I just showcased the 252 Jolly spread because when you have Encore and stuff like that, the faster you can get that going, and the more pieces you're faster than, the more pieces you have the ability to lock into Encore, or to lock into a move with Encore, and therefore I felt like just going max made a little bit of sense. You could definitely play around with this spread, maybe take one of the other ones and use it on the Covert Cloak spread, totally fine. But max just made sense to me. Just, you know, Encore, get Encores off sooner rather than later, get some Cudgels off sooner rather than later. Just made a lot of sense like that. Once again, Covert Cloak, a little bit weird with Defiant, but it's strictly to stop the fake out and you become a full-on support bot, basically. Loaded Dice, which in my opinion is by far the best set on Ogerpon-teal mask. Once again, you are locked, of course, to Terra Grass. Not much you can do. You do get a speed boost when you Terra Grass, which is pretty fun. So you get to do Bullet Seed, and I think Loaded Dice Bullet Seed is phenomenal. Yes, you're not running the Ivy Cudgel, but it's just a Grass move. You get all kinds of other Grass move options, right? And I think Bullet Seed Loaded Dice is funny. Not only do you break through like Sash Urshifus, like the no bulk Sash Urshifus, they're dying, right? You also get the chance to Terra, get the speed boost, potentially kill Fluttermanes if they're not very bulky, and kill the Shenpows if you get the 5th hit. So because of that opportunity and that potential to really just all of a sudden be faster than things and drop Bullet Seeds and break through Sashes, I think it is a very phenomenal set. And once again, strictly the Sash Urshifu alone being so popular and being able to just break your way through that, not get intimidated, is unbelievably strong in this format. Generally, you know, you want ground coverage on this. I put Stomping Tantrum. You can easily put Fighting coverage if you want. You could technically go like Player Off or U-Turn as well. Same concepts that you had before, but Stomping Tantrum felt the best, right? Like, I don't want to be in a scenario where, oh, they brought Instant into my Defiant Mon, and then I can't hit Instant at all, right? So it's like why I liked low kick on King Gambit back in Regulation H. It's the same reason here, you know? I'm not going to kill the Instant by any means with a +1 Stomping Tantrum. Is it going to hurt? Is it going to hit hard? Absolutely. And then all of a sudden, maybe my other piece can chip it down, or maybe it's already chipped, you know, or they switch into the +1 Bullet Seed, and then Stomping Tantrum can finish it off, right? So it makes sense in that regard. It also hits stuff like the Raging Bolts and any other fire type in the format. So it felt like the correct coverage move on this piece. And then the spread is pretty straightforward, guys. 158 is pretty much a good spot. It gets you faster than the other booster energy Pokemon, like the Gouging Fires. They like sitting at 157 because that's their max speed. So being faster than that was super nice. You get to go faster than it. You get to drop a Stomping Tantrum on the chance that you Terra, right? This is all reliant on you Terraing. Obviously, if they're booster speed, you're not faster than them unless you are Terraing and getting that speed boost yourself. But in a scenario where that ends up becoming a opportunity, you can take that. Maybe you switch into a Breaking Swipe. You all of a sudden get your Defiant boost to +1, and then boom, you're going to Terra, get that speed boost, and have no problem helping, starting to deal with the Gouging Fires and the other types and the other fire types as well, right? So I think Stomping Tantrum's good there. That's a pretty respectable speed stat. I don't think you really need to go anything higher than that or different than that. Attack stat was basically for the Bullet Seed to kill the no bulk Urshifu. You want a little bit of bulk on these pieces, I think. You don't have the best typing, right? Like, yeah, Mono Grass is like fine. It's not bad. It works for Rillaboom, right? But because you can't Terra out of the grass, I do think you want a little bit of bulk. And just to capitalize on things, right? Because you're still generally running Follow Me and redirecting Urshifu. So I went 60-44, and that's going to survive Mystic Water Urshifu pretty much almost constantly, almost always, unless they're like max attack Adamant, which I don't think there's too many max attack Mystic Water Urshifus. Everything else, Surging Strikes is a 3-shot on, which is phenomenal, barring like crazy multipliers like Rain and all that kind of stuff that I didn't really calc for. But the 60 and the 28 is going to allow you to live Specs Moonblast from Fluttermane, assuming they are not Terraing, which they may not want to Terra given the position. There's a lot of other opportunities, right? So just kind of the benchmark calcs that we wanted here. Once again, you can definitely play around with just maybe throwing more attack in here. Like, there's nothing wrong with 252 on Ogerpon-Teal Mask. It is a completely fair option. I just kind of wanted to showcase you can kind of get away with some bulk, and these are kind of the benchmarks that you'd want to be hitting. I'm gonna go to the Sash one. No, I'll go Scarf first. We'll do Choice Scarf first, guys. And I played a Choice Scarf one on ladder the other day, and I think I crashed out for like 5 minutes because it clicked double kick and killed my Shenpao. And like, it's a 30 base power move. Why did I die? I know Shenpao has like no defenses, but like, why did I die? Anyways, the concept here and the big concept with Scarf Ogerpon-Grass is that you are basically going to be outspeeding Booster Fluttermane and pressuring big damage into it with an immediate Terra Grass Ivy Cudgel, right? And getting any support move off that you want while pressuring that damage. You also get access to a nice little U-turn. The speed boost is super, super nice. Tons and tons of options, right? And basically, you don't need to be faster than 154 because you're already Choice Scarfed, right? You could easily go, like I said before, with the 158 to outpace Booster Gouging Fires, which is definitely valid as well. There's a lot to say on this speed tier, but the concept would be that because you're Scarfed, you now no longer need to Terra for the speed boost, but if you do Terra for the speed boost, you're pretty much the fastest piece in the format. And there's a lot to be said for being the fastest piece in a format like this, just dropping grass boosted Ivy Cudgels, and you can't really get intimidated until after you Terra. Like, once you Terra, yeah, you know, it's gonna happen, but right here, the ability to just, you know, drop Ivy Cudgel is broken. Being the fastest piece in the format, broken, right? Double kick was cute. This can be any fighting move, guys. This can be break, this can be super power. It really doesn't. It could be play rough if you wanted it to be. I just really wanted to feature double kick because it's one of those ways to like kind of deal with Shenpao, which generally speaking is kind of not something you want your grass type to do. But when you get the opportunity to not get intimidated, and you can simply just start clicking double kick and just immediately remove a piece from the board, I think that is phenomenal. So it's an interesting option since Shen Paos do generally run Focus Sash. So it's something to consider. I wanted to showcase it. I don't think it's like game breaking by any means, but then once again, that Stomping Tantrum and the U-turn that I'm going to continue to preach on Scarf Pokemon. Like the ability to reposition your Scarf Pokemon while still getting damage has always been phenomenal and always will be phenomenal. You just get to do so much, right? You can break a sash, get out of there, and then bring in like a resisted hit, maybe get an Intimidate on the board. Maybe you're pairing this, with your own Incin. And I think this makes sense with Incineroar because, you get to U-turn. They can't really intimidate you, so you get to U-turn out, you get to reposition with your Incin on the board, which is a pretty good switch-in type-wise. So overall, pretty good. And then, guys, you can't really ignore Focus Sash. There's not much to say about Focus Sash, guys. You can pretty much do any combination of the moves here, barring, the loaded dice stuff with the Bullet Seed. But Ivy Cudgel, any of the support moves, I really do like Follow Me on my Sash Ogerpons. It's the similar concept to the Ogerpon Rock, right? Now, you have to double into me to get this kill, or I'm getting Trick Room up, and it becomes a very incredible support piece. And then you can also just go on offense with Ivy Cudgel. Tons of options here for anything you want to do. And this last move, like I said, completely up in the air. You can go Tantrum for support coverage. You can go Taunt. You can go Encore. Anything we talked about already. And I'm sure there's other things that I may have missed as well. Hornleech is kind of cute if you want health back. Not really a thing. Quick Attack, like I said before, not really something that we're going to be utilizing. But I guess in theory, you could use it, right? There's tons of options here. And then, of course, Spiky Shield, guys, is Spiky Shield. But overall, I would think if you're looking to just slap a Grass Ogerpon on a team, I really do think Loaded Dice is the secret. Loaded Dice is probably the best option for it. Just because you can't get intimidated, you're breaking through the Sash, Urshifu, it gives you the most versatility, and it serves a niche that other grass types can't really accomplish as well. And I think that's really, really big for Ogerpon. I think the Covert Cloak stuff is interesting and unique, but I definitely think Loaded Dice is by far probably one of the better sets. Overall though, guys, if you guys are enjoying this type of content, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help our channel, and of course I really do appreciate it. But with that, guys, hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in a future video.